Okay. I know, right? Quick, go get your makeup. All right. So basically, what our goal is today is for me to learn about your business and see exactly what your needs are, and then we will kind of talk about how Striven can help with those needs and answer any questions that you may have. Kind of give you an idea of who we are as a company. And what we do to help you move forward.
Sure.
Okay, so let's start with tell me about your company. Let me know what you were looking for and what you guys do.
All right. So work for a little mom and pop company called Adhesive and Packaging Systems. They've been using a very dated version of Sage Business Works for years, and I've been with the company for 7 years, and the version still shows like 2011 on it.
Oh, wow.
It's very old.
Wow.
It does do everything, but it doesn't have a CRM, but for the most part, it's like your financing, your inventory, and everything inside of it. So my boss has been happy with it. And I guess I should tell you about the company first. What we do is we actually distribute and sell equipment parts, adhesives for hot melt equipment, for like the big packing corporations.
Gotcha.
And we also have a service department, so we can actually rebuild, repair units. We have a technician that can go out into the field and work on site. We do installs at these plants as well, and we have some sales guys out there in the field.
Okay.
There are only 8 of us in the company right now. We're pretty small, but obviously with the software that we switch over to, we're hoping for something cloud-based, something browser-based that's accessible anywhere. In fact, like we have a salesman down in California. Our office is located in Hillsboro, Oregon. I moved down to Arizona a couple of years ago, so I work remotely now. And our other sales guy up in Oregon, he's always on the road as well.
Right. So how do you personally get into the system? Do you do like a VPN, or because it's all there on site, right?
Yep, it's all on premise. So I got a VPN remotely to my computer there, which sucks.
Right. Yeah. You're like, because it's 1970, right? I gotcha.
Yes. And it's just one of those things. The owners are, they're looking to retire, kind of. The owner's son, is going to be taking over. So it's just time for change. The system now, one of the big complaints that I have is just none of the modules really, you can't really drill in. Like if I want to find one piece of information, I've got to go to one area here, then I got to look up this, then I got to go to another area here and dig in. And I've got windows all over my screen. And then you get a call, it's an emergency, and I've got to look up something for them, and I've got more windows on my screen. And
right.
and
now you're down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. And I'm like, which little window was for what? Or I closed the window I didn't want. And so user friendly, something that can do it all. I know my boss doesn't want to have like a separate finance software, doesn't want a separate CRM. He wants it all in one. I heard about you through my husband's also in software. He works for a partner for Salesforce, and one of his teammates actually had a client that uses Striven that was a smaller company. So that's how your name came up.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I just did a quick kind of, I was like, okay, well, look, functionality wise listed on your website, looks like you do it all. I did play a little bit with your manufacturer.
The manufacturing test drive? Yeah.
But of course, I didn't really know what I was doing. So I was like, well, and I couldn't seem to get into certain things, as said I didn't have access. So figured probably talking to you to see what it's all about. So
yeah, the test drive is kind of like the high level, just to give you the idea of what our capabilities are. And you already got the big picture, which is that we are an all-in-one. So that would make the owner happy because it is all-in-one and everything, touches each other. So if you pay an invoice or if an invoice gets paid or you pay a PO and things like that, it automatically updates accounting. So, having an all-in-one system does make a lot of sense. So what are you doing for CRM type things now? How is that salesperson out in the field functioning?
Pretty much just relaying information back to me or someone back at the office to get them entered into the system. If he needs information, we've got to look it up for him while he's on the road. Yeah,
Yeah.
he really doesn't have any way of looking at it unless he can get somewhere and also VPN and look at a computer there. But while he's on the road, yeah, it's pretty much through phone. He's got to call us and get the information. So
Right. So he has no connection,
yeah,
like you said, unless he parks and,
yeah,
finds a spot where it's strong. Because a VPN is not something you could use in a weak situation. It
no.
has to be. It has to be quite the internet connection. Okay, and then inventory wise, because since manufacturing supply chain, do you guys keep? You mentioned parts and replacement parts, so that's an inventory of things that you keep.
We do. We have a small warehouse there. We also, within our inventory, we do kits and builds, assemblies. So that would definitely be something we need in the system as well, that can build up a new part from components.
Gotcha.
And of course, the inventory also pulls for like our service work and all that. So
Okay, excellent. So it sounds like you've come to the right place at the right time type of situation. And if the sun is taking over, you'd be, with the way the world is kind of turning at the moment, I'm speaking to a lot of sons that are taking over the parents' business, which warms my heart as a parent, to know that the people are still doing that, because it seemed to be like something that just wasn't happening. There was no more like Smith and Sons, or
right.
that type of thing was just going by the wayside. So it keeps giving me hope that this is still happening. So happy to hear that. And I'm sure they'll be happy to retire as well. So just an idea, as you heard from somebody else about Striven. So let me tell you a little bit about Striven. As you found, we are an all-in-one system. We have everything down to the accounting, the inventory management, as you mentioned, bill of materials, so you can build from raw materials to finished goods. We have complete project management, reporting, where you can, when you're in a report, it's 90% hyperlinked, where you can just click to the next level and drill down that way, and you don't get lost on your screen. Project and task management. So if you do have projects that you have to follow week to week or month to month or quarter to quarter, you can certainly do that. And then automatic workflows that you can use for marketing and things of that nature. Maybe if you haven't heard from a customer in 6 months or things like that, like, the true CRM system portion of that would do. Striven is part of a company called, or our mother company, if you will, is called Miles IT. Miles IT does IT technology work, website work, cybersecurity. The gentleman, Chris Miles, started this company 28 years ago in his basement. Every time I tell this story, it makes me feel like what was I doing? But at 16, he had a full construction company, and he ran it out of his mother's basement, which still blows my mind.
Yeah.
And because I couldn't decide what shoes I was wearing the next day. So
Yeah.
I'm just impressed that he just did this whole construction company at 16. And that's kind of like right when computers were starting to be a thing, that you didn't need a whole building to house one. And his network of other construction worker companies were like, hey, why are you doing better than us? What are you doing? And he's like, well, this new computer stuff, I figured it out. And they said, well, help us. So that's exactly how Miles IT was born, where it's just our job is to help other businesses do better. And he started that 28 years ago, and he hasn't stopped yet. So we're carrying on that process for him. So our CRM, we follow full sales funnel. When you sent your information into me and you downloaded the manufacturing test drive, you immediately went into our version, our tenant of Striven, because we use Striven on a daily basis. I wake up, the first thing I do is look at Striven, and Miles IT has it's just over 1,100 employees all around the world, and all of us use Striven every day. We use it for tech support, we use it for sales, we use it for marketing. Everything we do is in Striven. So we're close to 1,200 people strong using it on a daily basis. So that's just us. We're the biggest user, obviously, but that's just us. So our sales funnel, making that appointment with you, following up with you, emails, tracking your process through the entire, discovery, demo to approval. That's how we'll do that in Striven as well, just like your salespeople will do when you implement Striven. Again, like I said, automated marketing, detailed sales tracking. So the gentleman that's out in the field in Oregon and in California, can literally just go on their phone. It's responsive to screen size, so they can go on their phone, they can go on a tablet, a laptop, anywhere that you can have internet. They'll be able to get in, make notes, update the sales process. So whomever's on top of that can look and see exactly what's going on, who they've talked to, when they're going to follow up with them, and so on. All calendar scheduling is available as well, and document management. So document management could be things like with some of these big packaging companies that you have contracts with against their particular system, their customer in the system, you can actually hold their contract there as well. So you can have that in the CRM. And we also, something that's not mentioned here, is we also do asset management. So with all of those big equipment, pieces of equipment and machines, or if you loan out, do you ever find yourself loaning out a machine until something's fixed or something of that
Yeah.
nature? Okay, so we're going to be able to track that for you as well. So where that asset is, how long it's been there, what the depreciation value, all of those things. Because as I said, when you get hired on at Miles AT or Striven, they send you out that package of, your laptop, your screens, your keyboards and mice and such. So they have all of that in the assets portion of the system of where all that is and who has what and how long we've had it and so on. So we'll go to that extreme as well, whether it be cars, computers, pieces of equipment, what have you. So we can manage all of that also. And then our inventory management, and please stop me. I'm originally from New York, so if you do not stop me, I will talk until somebody dies. So so just stop me
I'll
if
interrupt if needed.
yeah, if you have a question, just be like, all right, that's enough. Our inventory will go as far as serial and lot tracking. So if you have that warehouse, you can say it's in this lot or on that shelf in this bay, wherever that may be, or if there's separate places where you may keep certain things. We have a stock status report, which anybody that manages inventory, I find that this is a bit of an addiction. I think we should probably start a help group, because once you get on it, it's hard to get off of it, because that stock status report tells you everything about the inventory, what's on hand, what's out on a pending build, what is on a incoming purchase order, what's out on a build in the future. So it gives you
drill into that at that time as well.
absolutely.
Okay.
And like today, like I said, today's more about learning and discovering. And then the next meeting, what we'll do is we'll do the demo. So you'll see that and you'll be like, I need that stock status report. It's really a sickness. And I think I'm going to start a help group. It's like, if you want to get off the stock status report, this is what you do. So, obvious mins and maxes, reorder points, and then customer level pricing as well. So if you have different customers that you do the same thing for, but they have different pricing, you could set that up in the inventory management also. We have a full project management portion in the system where you can plan and schedule all of your projects, track and manage those projects. So you can do things like where you would have a milestone, and then underneath that milestone, so let's say it's a 6-week project, underneath that first week, you may have 7 tasks or work orders under the second week, and then you can manage those and see if they're on track or if they're late. And if they're late, there's messaging and notes, and you can have discussions within the system. So like now, let's say you have a production process that's going on or a project, and you needed to message somebody else in the system, in the company, you either have to pick up the phone or send an email, hope they get it, hope everything stays on track. Where in Striven, you can just go to the discussion thread and you could start a discussion and have that entire discussion there. And then it's always kept there for later use to say, hey, this is what happened on this date and this is why, and so on. And as I mentioned, calendar scheduling and so on, and document management. So if there's any specs for that project, if there's any drawings or anything of that nature, or any instructional information, you can keep that on that project as well. And then, of course, as you mentioned, accounting. So everything that happens, the easiest way for me to say is everything that happens in Striven touches accounting. So if there's an invoice paid, a PO paid for, an invoice paid from a client, and so on, everything inventory wise, project wise, everything that happens touches accounting. There's no post-it note on the accountant's desk that we received a check, or there's no, spreadsheet that you have to send that says, hey, here's the update on this project for the monetary value. Anytime that something happens in Striven, accounting is updated real time. So that makes many, many accountants very happy.
Mhm.
We also have customer portals. So if you're talking about, the sun taking over and kind of leaping a little bit further into the technology world and the digital footprint of the company, we have a customer portal where your customers can go on and see outstanding invoices, pay those invoices. You can have those same discussions with them that they can see on the portal. Anything on the portal is also what you say can be on the portal. So they don't see everything, they see what's approved. Your vendors can have the same, and as you're growing, you may want to use the candidate portal. So that's where you can hire and manage all of that as well.
Okay.
We have, these are the strongest native integrations. So we have Shopify. So if you're shipping anything, Shopify if you're doing anything online, and Square if you have anything in-house that you sell, which I don't think you have a walk-up counter to buy equipment at the level you sell. And then also ShipStation if you are shipping anything under 75 pounds. And then that's me with a side of me. So we don't need to leave that. We don't need to leave that up. That's too much. That's too much me, even for me. So, like I said, that's the kind of high level. That's who we are, and that's what we can bring to the table. So, with that, what other kind of things did that churn and say, all right, I need to know this, or these are some of my questions that you may have for me?
Sure. So one would be, we don't do this now, but we might look into doing it, is a barcode reader.
And what would you use that for?
Just for inventory.
So just for data entry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. So what we would do is you would put that in the system of that barcode, and then if you were scanning it, it's basically it's a time saver for inventory data entry. That's really what it's for. And yes, we do.
Okay. And then another question would be from my boss, actually. He wants to know if you can have the system automatically pay ACH to our vendors.
So that's something that we can set up depending on how you want to do that. So you're talking about paying POs to the vendors?
Yeah.
Or your customers paying you?
Us paying our vendor.
And yes, you can. What you can do is you can set that up, and we'll facilitate that, and then that will go through to your bank. We do have an online banking integration, and it's called Yodely, which I think is just crazy, but I guess it's weird enough of a word that I remember it. But we can do that back in the background, that integration as well.
Okay. Pretty much everything else is like checking the boxes of primary functions that we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming, yeah, with the CRM, there would be like lead management.
Yes, because like I said, just like when your information came to me that I'm your salesperson, exactly the same thing that's going to happen for your salespeople. And it's going to go from top of funnel to the bottom of the funnel. You can do things like statuses where you can set it to, like a reached out to a responsive to, like when we're done, I'll mark your opportunity. We call them opportunities, but your opportunity will be marked discovery complete. And then I'll put in my notes and the recording from the call and all of that. So that's how we track everything. Like I said, we're the largest users of Striven. Again, over 1,100 people use it every day.
And then one would be, do you have field level security on some of the pages?
Everything is role and permission based.
Okay.
So yeah, so once you set up, so let's say you have the salesperson role set up, and then you hire a new salesperson and you have all of those permissions set up, you're just going to assign that person that role, and then immediately those permissions will follow.
Okay. That's really it. Those are only kind of the nitpicky things. So yeah, I think it'd be worthwhile doing a demo. We've been looking at we've kind of gone from one low end, which is Sage 100, up to NetSuite. We're demoing Acumatica next week.
Okay.
And then we also demoed SAP Business One. So a lot of them.
Right.
But, and we're not like in a super rush. We're just trying to take our time on it. But
yeah, and that's the way it should happen. And just so you know, I have zero timeline. I'm here for you. If you said to me, "Call me in 6 months," that's what I'm going to do. I'll put a note and call you in 6 months. You know, because my job as a consultant to help you get to the finish line, and wherever that finish line is, that's determined by you. So, a couple of questions that I have is: you said you have about 10 employees total.
yeah, we're up to 8 right now. And of course, we'd like to add another salesperson. So I would just, yeah.
So all of you would use Driven at one point or time or another?
Yeah. We'd all like to be able to get into it. As far as, yeah, like the role based, obviously like our service department and stuff, they would have a lot more limited access. And like our shipping clerk, you know, something like that.
Yeah, sure. And our implementation and adoption team will help you with that to basically say, okay, what can they see? And maybe some things are view only, not editable, things of that nature. That's going to be where that team takes over, and that's what they do. It's like how to set up roles and permissions, how to set up some of the configurable item. There's a lot of configurable items, different drop downs, like we call them, like I was saying in the statuses of an opportunity is reached out, demo complete, discovery complete. Yours wouldn't be called that. That would make no sense. So yours would be first reach out, second reach out, you know, maybe whatever that looks like for you guys. And then, so, and you said your timeline is kind of open. So is there a perfect world timeline? Like I would like to be live with Striven on this date. What would that look like?
I mean, for like me and like the office manager, we're probably the ones pushing the most to change the software. We use it more in-house all the time. So I think we're just happy to see it's moving on it because we've talked about it for years. And
right.
Getting done. And finally we're just like, let's go. So I feel like once we make a decision, it should move. But I know that there's also my boss, he's on the road a lot right now with some family health issues that they're dealing with. So he really doesn't want to be bothered until we come to him with like 1 or 2 final options. Gotcha. So we're doing all the work right now, watching the demos, getting all the nitty gritty on it. Just so we can show them a nice set of examples, options. But I definitely think we should demo this. I would like to demo it with my team.
Yeah. Do you have an idea of when that looks like for you? I mean, do you have everybody's schedule in one of those windows?
Yeah, I need to get into my other window, but I can look up here really quick too. I've been writing on my wall.
And take your time.
Yeah, I think it would probably not be until possibly the week of the 7th.
Okay.
But even then there's like some kind of outs, but let me actually switch over into this window really quick. It's April. We're in April.
I don't know who allowed it to be April. I don't remember. I don't remember the voting process. None of it.
At least the weather's getting nice.
I live in Florida, so I'm just going to be.
Oh, you don't have to wait. Yeah, down here in Arizona too. It's nice right now, but
I mean, even though it was, we had some winter, if that's what we would call it here, but you know, it was still bitter cold, but not like stay in your house because of the weather.
You're right. You're not gonna hunker down.
No.
Speaking of which, actually, I know this is actually important from someone in the team, and he likes local support. Do you have people, as far as support goes, that's like easily reached?
Our support is 24 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Okay.
And like I said, when I mentioned the over 1,100 people all over the world, even if you called at 3 o'clock in the morning, because obviously, you know, machines decide when they're going to break down when they break down, and if you guys can't get in the system to maybe look up the history or the warranty or things that you may be holding on that customer, our support is overseas at that time, but they are Striven and Miles IT employees. We do
Okay.
not outsource a single thing. Because we are an IT company, we take that very seriously. So even if you do call at 3 o'clock in the morning, you may get somebody like Tufik in India, but he works for us. He's not, one of those, if they ask this, go to answer A, type of outsource thing. So our support is probably one of our strongest features beyond the software.
Okay. Well, let's look at the week of the 7th.
Okay. The only day I don't have is that Wednesday because unfortunately they found me and I have jury duty.
Oh, fun.
And I always get picked.
Good one.
I always get picked. The last one I did was a murder trial. I'm like, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And it's just like on TV. It's kind of crazy. But
well, that's an interesting one. Like I said, because like I get picked as well, but they're never interesting stuff.
No,
So
the last one was about a week. I mean, I don't want to be out of work away for a week, but it was still very, very interesting. So
interesting, but yeah, that's excessive too. But
that's a lot.
Got to do it.
Yeah, I know. I could probably get out of it, but it's not. It's just, it's just part of life.
What about now the 8th? I think we might have something going on already. So I'm going to say, let's not do that one.
Okay.
We could do the morning of the 10th, but of course you're kind of in the air if you have jury duty multiple days.
Oh no, but that's okay. I one way or the other, and even if I can't do it, somebody else on the team would pick up for me. So don't worry about that.
Okay.
And
otherwise, yeah, that might. Well, actually, Steve's got a doctor appointment that Monday.
Okay.
Friday looks open. The 11th.
Friday, April 11th. That's fine by me. What time do you guys have available?
So we're on the West Coast. So as early, I would say, as 9, and everyone likes to get out of the office by 3:30. So.
Okay, so I can do whatever time on Friday. That's far enough in the future, and Fridays are always quiet for us until the week of. So anytime that day right now is open.
Let's go ahead and schedule that. So 4/11. Let's do 10 a.m. my time, which would be what?
1 o'clock.
Okay. Is that okay for you?
No, it's perfect. Nope. No. We're 8 to 5 in our respective time zones. So yeah, so what I'll do is I will send out the meeting invite to you, and then you could share it with whomever, and they could just accept the meeting, and then it'll tell me who's going to be there. And also, again, I will send you this recording. So you have this just for everybody to be like, yeah, this is the best one. And then we will reconvene on the 11th at 1 o'clock our time, and then that's 10 yours.
And it's about what you think, 1.5 hour.
I always slot out an hour, and then I have some buffer time, because we could do kind of high level, then drilled in into some other things, and then if you need additional demos, I don't mind. That's what I'm here for. So if you need 2 more, 1 more, one person has to come in later and do it, that's fine. But I still always put it like an extra half an hour buffer at the end in case I run over. So I'll have the time.
Would it be possible for me to send you just an example of some part builds that we have that you could maybe set up to?
I could stage those for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to send those over, this way you could see it in your language and your stuff, and then have that available for you in the test drive. And if you want to continue to use the test drive, just continue to redo it within the test drive, so it doesn't expire. Really, you have time, and since we're putting the demo further out, you'll have time to kind of peruse in there. But it is a lot to look at, so I get it.
When you're not used to it, wasn't sure where to kind of like.
Yeah, and you'll have a lot more direction after the 11th for sure.
Okay. Well, I'll let you know for sure if that date doesn't work, but for now it looks like it should be good with everybody. And yeah,
and I'll send over the invite, and then you'll have all of my contact information in there. I think I sent you an email anyway earlier. That's where you booked from. So you have all my contact. If anything changes, let me know. You also have the ability to move the meeting on your own, where you can open it up and see my calendar. So if that's something that you need to do, then feel free. It does, any time that I'm available is where it'll work for me.
Sounds good.
All right, awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, and I'll send this video over to you after it compiles. So it may be tomorrow. Google takes its time.
Perfect. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Not a worry. You have a fantastic day.
You too. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.